Everybody. It's nice to see you all again. I'm just going to let you all filter in slowly and get all your everything set up. If possible, could you please turn all your cameras on? It's much nicer speaking to you and we can see your faces. So I hope you all had a great weekend and you're ready to start the week off strong. I'm just letting in a couple more people. People are filtering in quite quickly. So today we have Coinbase Node. We've got Diego who's going to talk to us about it. Coinbase Node is actually launching today. I will hand over to Diego to explain more and introduce Coinbase Node to all of you. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, welcome.
Yeah, so let me share my screen. I do have a small presentation. Okay, so well, today is all about Coinbase Node. I am going to touch a little bit about general Coinbase, but the main focus is Coinbase Node. Let me introduce myself first. And I am Diego Lizarazo, and I'm a senior developer relations engineer with Coinbase. So that really means that I get to talk a lot with people. So that's why I'm here. And I have a little bit of privilege today about talking about Coinbase Node. Literally the documentation at the end that I'm going to share with you may still not be live. Let's check really quick what is going to be the agenda. So I'm going to be talking about general Coinbase and Web3. Then it's all about nodes. And at the end, I'm going to go a little bit on hands-on experience, like showing you the actual product and creating a small project for you guys and showing you like where to go and what to start. The idea is that a little bit later today or tomorrow, you should go and create your own account and start experimenting with that. We really want to get your feedback to see what kind of features you like the entire experience. If you hate it, if you love it, what would you like to see? And hopefully you love it and let us know. So let's get to it. Okay, so this one, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide. This is one of these things that is constantly changing, especially the verified users that you see at the end. And really, the main thing, the main takeaway here is the audience. So Coinbase is a leader in Web3 development, a leader in crypto. And if you start working with us, you're going to have access to a lot of these people, a big audience and users that already trust Coinbase and that are willing to well, pretty much kind of like work with our partners. So this is just kind of like saying like, hey, we have a lot of resources and we are willing to work with you. So just take a look. So now let me see. So building Web3. So one of the things here is that Web3 has a little bit of a problem right now, and it's growth. Whenever you're starting a new era in technology, you're going to have a lot of technologies that are going to be in beta state, are going to be alpha, and you're going to use them every day, but you're still going to have reliability issues, security issues, usability, and that's why pretty much that's kind of like one of the main reasons why we started working on Coinbase Node. We figured out that a lot of developers didn't know where to start, didn't know what to do for their nodes, and I'm going to kind of like go into a little bit of that in a little bit. But the entire point is that Coinbase wants to be the place that you go to create everything. It's going to be your one-stop shop for Web3 APIs, for tools, for infrastructure. And in general, it's going to be kind of like the way for you to start building your own dApps. So, and right now, this is kind of like some of the partners that we work with and some of the platforms and protocols that we kind of like work with. And we're going to be filling up each one of these boxes that you see at the top. So, well, let's go. Start building with Coinbase Cloud. So like I mentioned today, we're going to be talking about Coinbase Node. Like a week or week and a half ago, we were talking about Coinbase Wallet. So if you didn't check that video, if you were not able to join that presentation, I would recommend you to check it too. And we also have Coinbase Pay. You can go to our documentation. You can check it all about that. But in general, like these are some like the first developer focus offerings that we have. And it is going to be like, well, for once, we're going to launch more. and the integration between all of them, it's just going to increase. Now, let's talk about nodes. So let's talk about like why you may need a node, why you may need a node provider. So this could be a little bit like basics, but then since we have a big audience today, I didn't want to assume that everyone knew what we were talking about with nodes. So I'm just going to give a little bit of an intro there. Then we jump into Coinbase Node specifically, and then we go into the demo. So what does a blockchain node do? So in simple terms, a node is a piece of software running on a single computer that is able to connect with the rest of the blockchain network. So the node stores and validates transactions on the network and earns cryptocurrency rewards. A blockchain network consists of many nodes that coordinate to achieve consensus on the state of the network. And for example, the most up-to-date account of all token transfers and wallet addresses and the balances that they have on the ledger. The blockchain network is decentralized. So, and that is by nature because there isn't a master server or a single source of truth. And this is one of the main reasons why the technology is so appealing for developers. And the component nodes in the network are all over the world and are controlled by countless individuals and organizations. And it is crucial to remember, and if you didn't know, like this is kind of like perhaps the best takeaway of most of the presentation, that a node is required in order to view the data in the blockchain, so on a blockchain. So this is why it's so important for any developer to understand how to interact with nodes and when you're creating your own apps. Now, there. So why is it hard to manage and run a node? So I'm just going to go through some of the main things. And the important thing here is that most developers have a problem in mind when you're writing your own app or your own system. So we are kind of like problem solvers, and you have already something that you want to solve. You have like, I don't know, the next e-commerce idea or the next game or whatever it is. But even though you manage a node and it's necessary for you to communicate to the network, that's not really the core solution of what you're trying to build, right? So you're trying to do something else. You need the nodes, you need like all the capabilities that you're going to get with a node, but you don't really want to kind of like, that's not really the problem that you want to solve. So, and there are different types of nodes and so much simpler to configure and to manage, but you will still have to configure different variables like, well, checkports, you have to download block headers, a lot of things. And this can be cumbersome and is going to distract you from the actual problem that you're trying to solve. The other thing, obviously, is that you are going to be responsible for managing the node itself. So to make certain that your node is running properly, you will need to regularly determine its health. You have to upgrade them. And in some cases, you will have to rebuild them from scratch. Well, you need to, that's kind of like a really bad scenario, but it could happen. Scalability. So when you're finally ready to go from like a small project to a globally successful phenomenon that I hope that all of you are creating right now, your node will have to respond to millions of queries. And this may involve spinning additional nodes, managing a load balancer, and well, you also have to do everything with syncing data between those nodes and well, your app. So all that is a little bit complicated. And that leads us to Coinbase Node. So right here, we have kind of like I'm not going to get into the detail, like this is one of these slides that have so much information and is quite rich into how we see as Coinbase, how we see a big part of that development. But the Web3 developer journey starts with accessing the blockchain, right? So you're going to need something to read, to write, to kind of like, well, figure out what's going on. And Coinbase Node's mission is to abstract away the complexity of building on blockchains. So that's really the entire point. So we want to make it reliable, scalable. That is something that I was mentioning before, and something that for you is accessible. So we currently have native APIs to read, to write, and to start building out canonical and custom indexes. and to access blockchain data and start a smart contract state. So we're going to see that when I get to the demo part. You're going to have a little bit of a view of the current state of the product of Coinbase Node. And since I am really hoping that you're going to give us a lot of feedback, you're going to have a voice in what is it that we're going to be spending our time in. So that is important. Let me confirm. Yeah, we're almost done with the slides part. So that's good, because I think you guys want to see a little bit more on the product side of things. But well, right now we have a dedicated node offering. It's still nascent in terms of revenue run rate and customer footprint, but well, obviously it's growing rapidly. And our value proposition is pretty much security, reliability, and protocol breadth and run customer support. So I think those are important things for us to share. And you can, well, get the documentation in a second. I'm going to share the link. And then you're going to kind of like be able to tinker and, like you said, give us feedback. So be some of the first people to give us feedback outside of the company and some of our partners. Now, when we get to the product, this is kind of like the general flow that you're going to see in how Node works. So first, you're going to create a project. So you're going to configure like all the settings there, and we're going to do that in 2 minutes. Then when your clusters are running, then you're going to be able to check all the details about activity and get key metrics there. And that is something that we are also going to keep improving in terms of UX. So get a better experience for you as a developer. And this is perhaps one of the parts that I think you should give the best feedback that you can, as detail in everything that you love and hate about the product, because as developers, sometimes we need things and we don't say what we need. So it would be great to know, and well, we will be working on that. And finally, you're going to be able to manage access to your cluster, and the interface you're going to see, it's quite simple and is designed to be simple, and is to be able to have like an easy way for you to manage that access and give like basic out and IP lists that you are going to allow inside of the your clusters. Now, looking ahead, so this is a little bit more of like what we're working on right now. So I'm going to present you the current state of the product, but we're already giving you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be working on. So self-serve, it is kind of like the name of the game. That is the most important thing for us, for any developer to just start running right away without our intervention. So that's something that you can do already, but that is a strong focus of what we're going to be doing in the coming months. Apart from that, I think they are already giving access to the NFT APIs. So I already have seen some of the documentation there, but that is also something that is going to be growing. So if you're interested in NFTs, that is a big part of that. And in general, well, you'd see a little bit more caching, advanced query products, et cetera, et cetera. And these are some of the things that we have right now that I can tell you. Obviously, we have a longer list of features that we are already working on, but at that, since we don't know when they're going to be released, I'm not going to be mentioning much more about that. This is, I'm not going to talk a lot about this because we're literally going to see a screen similar to this in a second. But it's just going to take you pretty much less than a minute for you to start setting up your endpoint. And right now we have 3 pricing tiers. So obviously I would recommend you to start with the free one, figure out how is it that you can use the product, what is it that you need, et cetera, and then go from there. And we have more paid tiers that give you a little bit more customer care and support from us. Apart from that, I think, yeah, how to get started. That's perfect. So this is kind of like the important thing. So you can see the URL, but if you don't want to type that long stuff, I created the QR code so you can go directly to the documentation. This, if you go right now, it may be closed, like literally for the next couple of hours. So I would take a screenshot or wait until tomorrow until this video of this presentation is available and then go. But this is kind of like the starting point. I do have access, of course, so I will show you how it looks, but this is the URL they're going to be using. And apart from that, I think that's it. So let me exit this. Let me move to the right place. And here. So that URL is going to take you pretty much here, so you can see the documentation that already gives you welcome to Node, the features, like information about the free plan, et cetera, et cetera. But then the important thing here, I think it's the quick start, especially because it already shows you as a developer how you get started and the link that you need to go to get access to the account. So then you're going to have to create a Coinbase account if you don't have it, and then you're going to request that. I did create one this morning, so I think literally you should be able to create it right now. But since you may not have access to the documentation, that's really where you may have kind of like a little bit of an issue, like getting to do that. But well, we will see. So, and then we're going to create a project. So I'm going to jump from different. I'm going to start here, home. There. So, and I don't know what I did. So there you go. So this is pretty much what you should be able to see when you create a new account and do get access to Coinbase Node. And the most important things here, especially, are query and transact and participate. So today I'm going to be covering this one, but I'm just going to show you really quick where things are. And then we're going to get to the interesting things. So first, here on the side, you're going to, well, get to home. This is where I am right now. The API management, also that's something that you can go right there. And billing, if you are going to get one of the paid accounts. Also, this here is going to give you access to your account settings, but this is pretty much your Coinbase account, and that's going to give you access to all of this. Now, to start doing something, let's go to query and transact. I already created this morning a project just to make certain that everything was working. So we will see if the demo actually makes sense, but we will see how this goes. So I'm going to create a new project. It is going to tell you, hey, you can start here for free. If you have a different type of account, the options that you have here are different. Let's go with the free version. So it tells you the plan that you have. And then I am just going to say, we're just going to call it Safari. It makes sense. And right now, because it's the free version, you're just going to go mainnet. So go to project. So it takes a second. Now, this is important. And this is telling you right here that for security reasons, we are not going to kind of keep your username and your password. So I'm going to copy them, and during this presentation, you're going to see them. So that means that pretty much as soon as I log off this presentation, I'm destroying this project, so you cannot use the username and password. But in the meantime, I trust you guys. I already kind of like got you access to a lot of things. So let's copy paste, and I'm going to have it here. So this is going to be my user, and then I'm going to copy my password. So you're going to see the gigantic thing. And it's important that you do it, because if you don't do this time when you create your project, pretty much you will have to destroy the project and then you want to create to get new username and password. So it's good that you copy it in somewhere secure. So, but in the meantime, sure, let's do this. So also it gives you right away like some sample requests that you could use. So you could copy it directly here. I already have in Visual Studio, already have kind of like a little sample that we're going to work with, but you already can start working with that. So I'm just going to say done. And that's already kind of like your little project already created, and you can manage the project. You can delete it, which again is what I'm going to do right after the presentation. Okay, well, this is interesting. It shows me again the username and password. Okay, so that's a good way to recover it, but I guess it's going to work one time only when you go back on this page, but it shouldn't do it anymore after that. Okay, so now what do you do? What is the interesting part of the demo besides creating the project? It's going to go here, and I already have a couple of requests. So you see that, and this comes directly from the documentation that you can see over here. So you can see like it's walking you through the entire process that I just went through. And it already gives you a couple of requests that are the ones that I'm going to modify. So I already had them. And the only thing that we're going to be changing are the username and password that you already see here. So let's do that. So this is my username. So copy, paste, and then the gigantic password, copy, paste. And now I am just going to go to a terminal. And if everything works, but I hope it does, it should work. So I just copy it here and already gives me the result JSON that already comes from that request. Now let's do one more that is a little bit more interesting. This one I'm using with what is it, with JQ. So I am going to change again user and password. Oh, that's what happens when I don't pay attention. Copy instead of paste instead of copying. Okay. And then this one is just going to also give it format to the request that we have here. So let's see, copy in. Ooh, I didn't copy paste. Copy. I don't want all this thing. So give me a second. So there. Okay. And there, a method not allowed. Okay, there you go. This is what happens in demos. What did I do? Oh, did I move this in here? Let me try one more time. I don't know if I can the copy pasting if I made a mistake. Oh, there you go. That was it. So when I copy pasted the password, I made a mistake. So that's it. But then in this one, you're kind of like going to get like a decimal kind of like version of like the block that we are kind of like consulting. So we're asking the block number that on the network, and that's pretty much it. So you can see how we created the project right away, and it just took me a couple of minutes. And using the user and the password, you should be able to already start kind of like asking the network different things. Now, in the documentation after that, you are going to, this is just kind of like kind of like the first steps, but then you can go directly through the entire API reference, and you should be able to kind of like figure out, okay, well, all the methods that you can well, consult here, and you're going to have like more things that are going to be added during the day, including some of the videos, concept. I just point this out because I'm the one that was creating some of these videos here at the end, and some of the things that I was covering today, like what is a node, is going to be there. Apart from that, I'm going to go back here for a second just to so you can see the link that you are going to be able to use. And I think that's pretty much it. That is everything that I had to talk about, like Node, and like you see, it's relatively easy to start, to get going. It doesn't require a lot from you, but afterwards you're going to have a node of a project that you can manage yourself and start experimenting during, well, your development and your own dApps. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Diego. That was such a great presentation, and thank you everybody for coming.
You're going to have the link there to create your own account and to immediately start working with it, you know, so, and which is what we want. We really want everyone to start tinkering with it, trying to figure out, well, if there's a bug, we obviously appreciate it if you let us know, because that's the kind of thing that we would like to fix. And in general, to see what is the experience. If you think that there are new features that you're going to need for your development, something that you may need, well, right away or in the near future, we would like to hear more about that. And during this entire week, we're going to be also in a couple more events here in the US. And I think we're going to be releasing even more documentation, more videos, more like hands-on, and that is going to be a big part of what we do in the next few days, so, and weeks.
Thank you, Diego, and thank you everyone else for coming. It was lovely to see you all again. So thank you for all coming, and we're keen to see you then. Thanks, everyone.